Welcome to The Trader, a Traitors podcast. My name's Matthew, and I'm a writer working in TV development, and I am a handy faithful. The Trader features deep dives into every episode of the multi-award winning hit TV competition series, The Traitors, as well as interviews with contestants from the shows, and this is season 3 of the podcast, dedicated to The Traitors Australia. If you've just listened to the episode 11 recap, then you'll now know that Paul was chosen by Traitors Alex and new recruit Kate as their next murder victim. And you'll also know what's coming now. Yes, I spoke to Paul all about his time on the show, since we see so little of it on the show, and we talk about why there is so little of him on the show. It's going to be a good one. Let's go ahead and listen. My extra special guest for this episode of The Trader is the elusive, enigmatic, faithful Paul McNeill. Paul made it all the way to episode 10 of the show, or 11, depending on how you think of it, before being placed on death row and murdered by Alex, a newly recruited traitor, Kate. Paul, how are you doing today?
I feel great being called extra special. Thank you, Matthew. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Now, listeners might be saying, wait a minute, he doesn't sound Australian. Where is that accent from, Paul?
I'm from Manchester in the UK. So, I've been in Australia over 30 years, so hence the accent. I've been trying to get the Australian accent. You're terrible at it, by the way, Matthew. You've been trying.
I'm hoping by the last episode, I'll have improved. So 30 years, that's a long time in Australia. What took you to Australia in the first place?
My now current wife, who I followed her out for love. She came out the day, I'd like to go to Australia. I said, that's fine. And then she said, I'm going. I said, where's Australia? So I had to look at it. We know about kangaroos and cricket and everything, but actually, where is it? So I followed her out, actually, and then travelled around and we stayed here.
We got excellent.
Four beautiful kids and 2 dogs.
Yeah. Lovely. Now, I'm guessing, is there some Scottish heritage with that surname, McNeill?
Well, McNeil is from my dad's side, but my mum, they're both Irish. My dad was 5 generations Scottish when he crossed the Ireland, met my mum. My mum's pure Irish. She's actually from the O'Neills, believe it or not. And she said to my dad, oh, you're the Scotland across the Ireland, you are. Mum and dad came to Manchester in England, married independently. They came over, got married, had us children, and then we ended up coming to Australia. So we're bohemian and travelling family.
Yeah. Now, before we go any further, Paul, I'm going to introduce you to our game, which is called The Trader Traitor. Our secret mission for the rest of the episode is to try to betray one another by telling an undetected lie. You can tell me something about the show, about yourself, about anything else that is a complete fabrication. For example, you could tell me that Roger actually tapped you on the shoulder to be a traitor and then changed his mind. However, your lie can't be a fake opinion, like saying that you thought Roger smelled weird when actually you thought Roger smelled wonderful. So we're looking for fake facts, fake stories, fake anecdotes. Does this all make sense?
It certainly does.
Okay. Our lying game, The Trader Traitor, begins now. So, Paul, now I know how you reached Australia, but how did you reach the show, The Traitors? How did you get involved?
Well, it's very interesting that because as you get older and wiser or unwiser, we want to do different things in our lives. Obviously, we've gone through lives activities, as they say. And I always wanted to do the trilogy, the Golden Three, and that's doing a game show, a quiz show, and a reality show. And I ended up doing a game show, and then I did a quiz show. And I thought I never really wanted to do a reality show because of what's out there. I mean, I'm too fat for Survivor. I can't sing, so I can't go on The Voice. I'm married, so I can't go on The Bachelor. And it was all quite limited. But when I saw The Traitors, I thought, perfect that, because we do a lot of escape rooms, we do a lot of puzzles and quizzes, and in my business, I'm a finance. Well, they call me a financial investigator. I mean, I've been in finance for over 30 years, and I'm always having to investigate things. And I thought it was the perfect foil. So I applied and got through all the various stages, which I was very surprised. Well, not surprised, because I really wanted to get on. I ended up subsequently, they obviously liked something there.
Yeah. So did you want to be a traitor?
Well, I'd say out of all 24 of us, I think we all wanted to be a traitor. I don't know if anybody was faithful, to be perfectly honest, because I think we all read up on the on what the show was all about. And obviously traitors get the advantage, but also you get to lie and cajole and, you know, and really, when I wasn't chosen to be a traitor, I just thought, oh, okay, right, got to change tack now, because you go in with the mindset, I'm going to be a traitor. I've got to lie. I've got to do everything. And when you don't get chosen as a traitor, you've got to literally think, right, I'm going to think as a faithful now. How do I do that?
Yeah. Now, I'm going to just pause a wee minute. I don't know if you can hear the door behind me keeps creaking open because my dog is trying to get in. So I'm going to just put her out one moment. There we go. I'm back. So that never happens.
That was a bit rough.
The one time I don't put her away and she interrupts. So how was it being around? There were some really big sort of personalities on the show, like MK and his breakfast speeches, and Teresa is really boisterous. How was it being around characters like that?
Look, when we first enter, as you saw in the first show, we obviously didn't see me. She didn't see me on the show much. And it's like going to a function when you don't know anybody. If you go with your wife or your partner or your husband and you don't know anybody and you're introducing yourself basically to everybody, and you either go in with the mindset, right, I'm going to be boisterous, I'm going to command it, I'm going to take control, or you stand back and watch. And I had every intent. I was actually ill when I went in. We got COVID tested, and I had the flu really bad when we first, and it was literally at the point, should I go on? Should I do it? Because I was really coughing up. And anyway, I thought, no, go for it. And as soon as you go in, there was you could see groups forming straight away, literally, and people talking. And they were all eyeing each other up and, who's what? And I thought, once I started talking to people, I thought, sit back, Paul. They're all going to kill each other here. They were literally going after each other straight. They were talking. You could tell they were asking questions for a reason, to get ready to stab you in the back. So I just sort of took a step back, thought, right, okay, we'll watch this. And then obviously reality shows, you have to go for big personalities. Otherwise, that's what they go for. I mean, you can't tell me they don't. And I mean, you've got Fee and Teresa. They were the really big, gregarious, I'd say loud, but they were the very gregarious characters. And then MK was the very first to introduce himself. And as soon as somebody walked through that door, he went straight over as a gentleman, introduced himself, welcome. I think, he works there. Because he had a pair of trousers and a waistcoat, and he looked like the waiter. He looked like the host, And I thought, and then it turned out he was a contestant, but he was being nice. And I just thought he was a bit of not a clown, but just funny. But that's how he was, MK. He wasn't so much as loud as, say, Teresa or Fee, but he was trying to set his stamp on things, basically, But he was into a corner too much. As a criminal lawyer, you're cool, calm, and collect. You don't just go, because one thing I did ask him, and it doesn't show, some things they don't show, obviously. And I thought, right, they're all saying, is he an actor or is he a lawyer? And I said, somebody said, I thought I saw him on the TV as an actor. So we're all thinking, is he a lawyer? So in the banishment room, I said, can I just ask a question, MK? He said, yes. What? I said, can you just give us a very, very brief synopsis of the Donahue versus Stevenson 1932? And he goes, what? I said, the case, the precedent, Donahue versus Stevenson 1932. It's about contract, basically, law of contract. And he goes, I'm not sure. And I went, that's the fundamental law of contracts, basically. And I said, well, every lawyer knows that. Yeah, it's to do with, it's something, because whether he was panicking or what, but it's the very first thing you learn about when you do law. And I thought, well, he's an actor. He's obviously not a lawyer, But then he said it was something to do with contract. Then he sort of backed off and he started talking a little bit. But the first thing you say when you're a lawyer is, oh, well, that's to do with law of contract, 1932. We set the precedent. Mm-hmm. But he was a character, but he literally shot himself again. As I say, you walk in, he was one that basically shot himself in the foot.
Yeah. And you're not the first person to tell me that you thought MK was maybe like the butler. I think that's like a common misunderstanding there. I've got some questions about sort of the mechanics of the game and things that happened during different episodes. Something I noticed is you voted for Dirk quite early on when no one else was really looking at Dirk. And then eventually suspicions built up. Why were you suspicious of Dirk early on?
Well, as it turned out, subsequently, yes, he was an actor. He was saying he worked as a concierge and he worked as this and that. But we're in the banishment room, and you'd look over him, and he's looking up in the air, and he wouldn't look at you in the eye. And also, at the very beginning, the banishment, when Roger with a D, he chose the 4 traitors. The first thing I did, and a few of us did, once you took your mask off, you look around straight away. Who's looking? And there was a few people that didn't look around. Straight away, if you're a traitor, you don't need to look around here. So I was looking around, and 2 of them, subsequent one was Claire, one was Angus. But at the time, it didn't occur to me they were the traitors. But Dirk didn't look around too much. And I thought, hello. And then I started following that train. It turns out he wasn't, though. But he was lying. But the thing is, Matthew, he was lying. And that's what threw us. That's what threw me. You can detect a liar. Yeah. 50-50 chance of detecting. People say I can detect a lie 100%. Totally false. Statistically, I think it's 52% chance of detecting a liar. But that's like flipping a coin, basically.
Yeah. It seems like I don't know if this was encouraged in the casting or in production, that it seems like a few contestants had a backstory that they were keeping a secret, like Dirk not revealing that he was an actor, or Nigel not revealing his background. Was that part of the process? Were you encouraged to have a fake persona, or did that just suit some people better because of what they did?
No, it definitely suited people better. You go in, if you're a traitor, you can twist things. You don't need to. It's really hard to lie and keep the lie going. So why would you do it, especially if you're faithful? And that's what I told a lot of people. And I said, well, if you're a liar, you'll get pinged in the end. You just keep asking the same question over and over, but at different times in different ways. But why Dirk went down that track? I don't know. Maybe he was pursuing his acting career because he likes cabaret and theatre. Maybe it was self-promotion. That's the only thing I could put that down to. But when it came to Nigel, kaboom! How good was that one? He's involved in one of my 5 golden moments that wasn't shown on the show, which I'll go through with you. The big one at the end, I'll tell you. But that was one of them, because this is the first golden moment. We were going through, and we were at one of the challenges, and Nigel, we're all waiting around. It's cold, and he said, right, and he stood on his head. He just got up and stood, vertically, perfect, absolutely perfect, like a gymnast. Yeah, everybody's clapping, brilliant. Okay, probably 10 minutes later, he did it again. I went, yeah, great. And then about half an hour later, he did it again. And I thought, ding dong, narcissism straight away. Because there's certain elements of narcissism. Okay, there's the quiet and the real gregarious. And they actually asked me who I thought, and we were just talking about things. And I was talking to Nigel. He was saying how nervous I was in the room. I said, I'm not nervous. He said, oh, you're shaking your leg. I said, I do that all the time. My wife always tells me about that. Yeah, but and he was sort of having a go at me, trying to direct attention to me. And I said, well, what explains, the narcissism? And he said, what? I said, well, you do display narcissistic tendencies. And Fee went off her head. Oh, you can't say that. I said, well, I just said it. And I said, well, we're all narcissists because we all want to be on TV. There's a certain range of narcissism. And then, because I did apologise to him later about it, but just to say narcissist. And that's one of the elements of a traitor. is narcissism. Look what happened. It proved correct.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Dirk's reaction there when you took the blindfolds off, and you mentioned Angus and Claire maybe also didn't really look around so much. How surprised were you with those first three with Angus, Claire, and Marielle when you found out they were traitors? Were you then not that surprised?
Not that, absolutely 100% not surprised with Angus, because I knew. Matt knew. Three of us knew. We had a pact because we were in the car and Matt turned around and said, okay, this goes nowhere, these four walls. And I said, Matt, there's 4 cameras on us. It goes not. And Angus is a traitor. And I just squeezed Craig's leg and he goes, he sort of looks around because Matt was driving. And Angus turned round, Ralph. I used to call him Ralph Fiennes because you call him Bradley Cooper, but you look at, take that beard off and have a good look. And I said, well, Angus, are you a traitor? And he said, I can't confirm nor deny. And I went, you what? Because he's not allowed. I think the rules say you can't say you are a traitor, but you can say I'm not a traitor. Okay. And he said, I can't confirm nor deny. I went, yeah, okay, right. Oh, no, but are you really? And he goes, I can't confirm nor deny. And Matt said, this is between us. And I'm going, what on earth? This is on TV, no problems. And then, so when it came to that vote, guess who I voted for that vote when Angus was up for, when everybody voted him off? I voted for Claire, didn't I?
Oh.
I'm the only one who voted for Claire because I sussed her out as well. And I couldn't go for Angus. Said we wouldn't, he'd protect us. But Claire, because of certain things that happened with Claire, because she went as white as a ghost, didn't she, when she was pinged on a few things. And I thought, well, that's a fair, we all thought murder after the first night. Oh, no. But when we did the first challenge on the train, I was the one who found the name, and I'm short-sighted, didn't have my glasses with me. I'm trying to read a book, the manifest, and I'm going, I can't even read it. So I had to stand up on the seat and look in the light. And I'm the one who found it. And then Claire said, okay, I'll read it out. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, because she was always taking a back seat and she's the mother of 2, the shopkeeper. And she, I'll read it out. And she's reading out like a professional. And I thought, okay, right, okay. Never go off one thing. You always go off 2 or 3, balance and probabilities. Next thing was when we did the swim across to the island, a few of us jumped in. I got up to my knees, saw the 2 were ahead and thought, forget it. I got back out. And Claire went in but came out, and she only went up to her knees as well. And she's freezing. Oh, I'm so cold. Oh, I'm free. Oh, God. And I was cold but wasn't overly cold because I only went into my knees. And she'd only gone into her knees, but she was playing up all day. She was saying, oh, I went in the water, as though she really needed it. And I thought, well, you're not that cold. You're overacting. And that's when I thought she's a traitor. And it turned out she was. Yeah.
Yeah. And you, speaking of challenges, because you made it so far in the program, you took part in almost all of the challenges. Which were your favourite and least favourite of those?
The favourite and least favourite. There's a good one. The favourite was the train at the beginning, because if you remember, Chloe, the clairvoyant, the organizer, we're organising the groups, we're all going, all right, you don't want to be in that first carriage, Matthew, because if you stuff up, you'll stuff everything up. And everybody's saying, I'll do the second, I'll do the third, I'll do the fourth. Like when you're at school in the schoolyard. So who wants to play? And everyone steps backwards and there's one there and you go, what? So there was a few of us there. And we said, all right, we'll be the first. And we got on. I think it was myself, Claire, Matt, and was it Nigel? Anyway, I think there's 2 traitors in with it. Oh, no, Olivia. Olivia was in there. And then we said to each other, what if we stuff up here? We're gone. It's an all or nothing, But that was good because we really went for it and we got on to the next one. Matty run it up. And we said, all right, our job's done, great. He came back. Are you sure it's that one? We said, it is, get going. So listen, there was a minute or 2 that we missed out on because the second carriage couldn't do the job. We did our job, teamwork. On to the next one, came back. Is it right? We said, of course it's right. So anyway, that was the one I enjoyed, the train. The one I least enjoyed, I certainly didn't like the swimming one, but I didn't swim anyway. But the very first one was the cemetery challenge. Remember with 50 graves?
Yeah.
And they split 2 groups, and I had Matty. Matty was brilliant, honestly. In there, and we stay in touch. Me, Matty, Lewis, and Craig. And Matty, I called him Wombat from there on in, because where we were in them woods, there was wombat holes, because it's in New South Wales. And I don't know if you've ever seen a wombat hole, but Matt is the only person who can fall down a wombat hole. We're talking, the next thing he vanished. But it was so cold. I was feeling ill, and he told us we had these tracksuits on and standing on the top of a field where it's windy and it was freezing, absolutely freezing. And then we had to go and either dig graves or go and search the Harry Potter signs, which I don't know, Jack, and going on about the Harry Potter signs. And I said, no, even watch Harry Potter. Is it a circle or a square or what is it? Just be English, Even I found one of the signs myself, and I'm blind as a bat, because he walked past it. It was like a fallen tree in the room. And I said, yeah, what's this one here? Oh, like the sign. Yeah, of course it is. And it was an easy sign, so we got it, yeah. But I wouldn't have wanted to dig them graves like they did. They were knackered when they were doing it.
Yeah, I bet. And of course, joining you on all of the challenges was Roger. I made a joke about it earlier, but how was it being on set with Roger Corser?
He's Roger with a D, remember? Roger with a D.
Yes.
But he's the best looking man I've ever seen in black and white. Handsome lad, I must say. He's a handsome boy. But no, he wasn't, he'd say hello and everything. He wasn't as standoffish as you think. He would talk to us, and then in between takes and things. So, yeah, he's a nice guy, actually. He's a really nice lad. Yeah,
that's good to hear. Now, towards the end of your time on the show, you ended up on death row. Why do you think you were chosen by the Traitors to be one of the 3 contestants on death row?
Well, there was, I think, because they went for me, Kate and Craig. And again, I think that wasn't it Alex that mentioned that from memory? Because Alex, I never, the thing is, what happened with the Traitors, as you know, we got them and then they just kept adding to them and adding to them. It's like the gift that doesn't, that keeps on giving, but which was a bit, I'm not going to say too much about it, but it's like if you do a lottery on a Saturday and you got 6 numbers plus a sup, you're just about to win. They say, oh, here's another number. Let's make it 7 plus 1. What would you do? Mm-hmm. So we wouldn't win, let's face it. Absolutely not. But Alex, towards the end, Alex said something. We were talking in the pool room, and we were talking about something with Lewis, and they were talking about Lewis, they were trying to home in on Lewis. I think it was Marielle and Alex. And I said, what, you think Lewis is a traitor? Because I didn't think he was. I used to say to them, I don't know whether you are or not, but out of 1 to 10, I would give someone a 2 or I'd give them a 7 or 8. I'd give Lewis a 7 or 8 like I did to Craig, And I said, no, I don't think Lewis is. And I said something, and then Alex said something to Teresa about it. Teresa ran in and told him, Paul thinks Lewis is a traitor. And I went, I didn't say that. I absolutely can't. And we were in the banishment room, and I said, I didn't say that. And Teresa said, oh, you did? I said, you're a liar, Teresa. You got it off Alex. And then into the back of your mind going, hold on, it was Alex that twisted it to tell Teresa. Mm-hmm. And that's when it started, bells ringing. And that's probably where when she became a traitor, put us on death row and killed me off. That's the only reason I could see. But I did get, honestly, I thought, I don't know if you saw my interview at the end in the car when I was saying goodbye. I send you you'll see it on my website and on the Instagram. But I thought I'd get if I got in the top 20, brilliant. I was 24, old Paulie. I was the oldest on the show, even older than MK. So if I get the top 20, brilliant. Anything better than that's a bonus. To get 6th was like taking the mickey really. And I just thought, this is real. Come on. And I just thought, they're never going to get me out by the looks of things. That's the only way. Once they said, Roger comes in, death row, and it was Paul, Kate, and Craig, I thought, it's the only way you're going to get me out, isn't it, eh? The only way you're going to get me out. And they did.
Now, in your final, this is again towards the end of your time. I suppose it was your last main episode. in the final silver challenge, you had this metal detection task in the woods. You had more to win than most of the others because only you, Craig, and Kate could be murdered. Yeah. So it sort of struck me when I was watching that episode that it might have been quite annoying for you that the others were fighting so hard for the shield when they didn't have quite as much to benefit from it. You know, was that frustrating that you really needed it a lot more than other people?
Very, very. Well, I'm crap at doing puzzles. I can't do jigsaws. I hate them. And it was a jigsaw. I found them okay. I was third. I think Nigel was up and Lewis, and then it was me. And I was up there. I thought, I've got a chance here. And they're quite heavy. And to find them, they had little fake ones as well, because you look at the earth to see if it's been moved. You know, like a murderer when they bury the body and you can see that. But they make false ones, but the metal detector does work. And every now and then it would work, but it's not the place. They must have put coins or something. I don't know. And I got up there and then I was trying to find them, trying to do them. And Lewis, he was a gun. He was brilliant. Yeah. He just, and between them two, actually, because everybody was looking at Lewis, but they were also looking at Nigel. When we were coming back in the car after that challenge, Nigel said what did he say? He said something, and that's what really made me think he was a traitor, definitely then. And then as it went on, as you know, when it's not, honestly, if you're suspected, it's not nice. Everyone looks at you and you walk away. We have little meetings in different rooms, and you walk into a meeting, and if you're suspected or don't like, they all disappear and go. Every time I rocked up to one, they go, oh, it's only Paul. And that's why I knew it was okay. Oh, it's only Paulie again. Right, that's what we're talking about. But when Nigel went round, he was like a scared rat. He was literally, because I walked in and he was talking to Teresa. And I went, oh, are you talking? Like they were deep in conversation. Oh, all right, I'll see in a minute. He goes, no, Paul, what have you heard? Paul, what have you heard? And I thought, oh, hello. Because everyone's starting to shift and think it is Nigel. And it turned out it was.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was going to ask about next. That in that episode then when Nigel is banished, you probably for the first time received quite a bit of focus in the banishment room because you put Nigel under the spotlight. And I was going to ask if you'd suspected him for a while, but you've kind of alluded to that yeah, this wasn't the first time you had suspected something about Nigel. So he'd been on your radar for quite some time, I reckon.
Absolutely. Well, especially when I call him a narcissist, I thought, I'm going to get murdered. If I'm going to get murdered up, let's go for it. But yeah, I think they thought, no, Paul might get murdered off. But I didn't. But yeah, no, he was. So as I say, Angus we knew, and it turned out right. Never showed it on the telly, idiots. Claire, again, the week before I'd voted for her, and they all went for Angus. And I thought, because when I voted for her, she got really uppity. Oh, yeah, I think you're a traitor. And I thought, you definitely won't, because that's what you do. It's deflection. There's deflection, there's diversion, there's lies. And the thing is, the show kept saying, Mark said it was Claire. Mark said it was Claire. Mark said it was Claire. Mark said it was Dirk. Mark said it was Mary. He said everybody, and they just showed the bits that they said Claire. But I was the one that got her, because they were even talking in the interviews. And they said, what do you think? You got her? And I went, did I? Yeah, you voted for her. And they all followed then afterwards. They were all saying it was Claire, but they were saying it was somebody else as well. And I was so happy we got her. I got up into the room, I opened all the windows, turned the music up really loud, celebration. You know, celebrate good time. It was reverberating right through the hotel. Brilliant. It was a great moment. That was probably the best night of the show for me.
Yeah, and we didn't get to see your glory then. And I guess that leads on to the elephant in the room, I suppose, the big obvious question that I really need to ask. And you've referenced this a little. Why this is the number one thing that people have asked me about. Why was Paul given so little screen time? So, you know, is there an answer to that question?
There probably is somewhere in the ether, somewhere. It's like, say, do aliens exist? I mean, everybody out there, I'm sure there are. But I think maybe because, look, I was the oldest. And these shows, if you look at the statistics, I can't even say that, statistics of people watching it, it's generally young to middle age, and put a few oldies on, they won't make it. Paulie got to number 6. And they're probably thinking, God, but I thought it was a little bit off in that you just watch every episode again. The camera moves away all the time. It just keeps moving away. I'm yet to see my backstory as well. And it was a really good backstory.
I was going to ask, I probably know the answer to this now, but did you have any idea or any impression during filming that maybe you weren't being asked so many questions in the interviews, or that cameras weren't focusing on you?
Not at all, because we were all being interviewed, we're all being asked the questions, etc. A funny one was, I've told you 3 of the golden moments. This is the 4th golden moment. Chloe. We all love Chloe, don't we? Hold on a minute. Just speaking to her now. Okay, there. No, she just at you from the spirit world. So it was a lovely girl, actually. I spoke to her when we first met in there for drinks, and then they paired me up. See, what they used to do is, we used to do little, as well as challenges, we'd have little get-togethers, chopping wood, playing pool or whatever. I was paired with Chloe to do, what was the game? Backgammon. I said, I can't play backgammon. And Chloe said, I can't either. I said, ask the spirits, they'll tell you. And so they said, all right, we had a quick crash course. And then we started playing. We're talking, and and she goes, hold on a minute. I said, yeah. She said, there's someone in the room. I said, yeah, the cameraman. No. The spirits, there's someone here coming to me. And I'm going, yeah. And I'm thinking like this, And she goes, it's someone from your side. And I went, yeah. She said, oh, they said to say they're okay. I said, oh, all right. Yeah, who was it? It's your father. I said, oh, all right, okay. My dad, okay. What's he saying? Oh, he's okay. He's fine. He's okay. All right. I said, can you ask him a question? I said, yeah. He said, he owed me 50 quid. When can I get that back? And the camera from the background, she looked at me with daggers. I said, oh, I'm joking. No. He said, oh, it might be, or it could be your Uncle Joe. But my dad's alive, and my Uncle Joe, never met him, because he said that you'd met Uncle Joe in 1990. And I'm thinking, well, she's definitely not. She's obviously a spiritualist and a clairvoyant, but that one, she didn't get it right. And didn't she? Because and they probably thought, oh, let's cut Paul out.
Oh, no. What have your fellow contestants? What do they think about it? Do they have any theories?
Every single one of them wondered why. I got loads of emails. I think, in these shows, you have the gregarious, the big loud people, the Fees, the Theresas, Squeaky Mark, and, they all sort of, and they concentrate on them. And then some of the others are quiet. The beginning, you'll have Sandra and Ethan. They'll concentrate on a few because they're going to go early. Whereas if you go deep, you don't tend to get too much at the beginning, obviously, because then they need to put you in. But as it went along, I'm going, well, I always wanted to go on a quiz show. I always wanted to go on a game show. And I still want to go on a reality show. But you know what? I did say to them, look, I don't want to make a fool of myself, and I don't want to make a fool of the show. I won't be swearing. And, some people love to swear. And, they all think F and shit and all that's funny. It can be funny without being funny, because they're all saying, you were funny. And I was cracking jokes and everything. Maybe my jokes weren't that good. But again, it makes for great TV, but does it? I don't know. That's why they got celebrities on, haven't they, to try and get things going. So
yeah. Maybe your jokes were out funnying Roger, and they thought, we can't have that. We can't have someone be funnier than Roger.
But it was a pessimist. I said, always borrow from a pessimist. They'll never expect it back, will they? It's always cracking jokes, and he's like this. It's like,
and you mentioned that we didn't get to see your sort of backstory. So what did you focus on there for that segment?
Well, I've asked them for it, and they haven't. They said, "Oh, it's a property of the whatever." But it was good because we do a lot of escape rooms. My daughter runs an escape room, and a boyfriend runs one down at Surfers, on the Gold Coast. And they've done Charlotte's done 140 escape rooms around the world, and we like to do them. And Escape Hunt down on the Gold Coast, the next door to it, there's an old bookshop where all the film sets borrow books from that particular bookshop. And it's a really old bookshop. I'll show you pictures. And it was directly next door to the escape room, and we filmed in the bookshop and also in the escape room. And because basically they give us half a day free, escape room, just blocked it off for half a day, which really cheeses me off that they haven't shown anything, because we blocked out the names and everything. But it's like literally solving puzzles in the escape room. And that's what we do as a family. And also, because finance, they showed us with the finance, etc. But I just, you know what? Maybe get someone on and ask them, reach out. And some of the shows as well, they always like someone who, oh, was he on it? And they all start asking questions, all the social media, they all start asking questions. Oh, I have seen this one or that one. Oh, and it creates sort of hype. So I was probably the lamb to the slaughter there. And probably because I got 6, they weren't happy. Paulie got 6. Well, what do you know?
And have you, been in contact with any of the makers of the show, the producers since? Have you spoken to anyone about it?
No, well, I haven't really asked why I wasn't on there too much. I've asked to see could I get me backstory, and they said, well, it was just the property of, and it wasn't a yes or a no. So they're sort of guarded. They should all be on Traitors themselves. But I haven't asked that question because, really, conversely, you can either be shown in a bad light, which causes. Look. Without going into the dark side of reality TV, there's been over 40 suicides, as we know, over the years. Literally over 40 suicides for people who have been trolled, who have been, you come out of there, because you do come out pumped up. I was in there probably for the right reason. I knew I wasn't going to win the money, right? Who wins the money? Someone will get it, but probably not. I didn't go in, yes, if you win the money, it's a bonus. I was just going in literally for the experience. People say, I'm doing it for the experience. Bullshit. He's just already on the telly, fame and your fortune. Come on, don't lie. But I enjoyed every minute I was in there, and I made sure I enjoyed it. The facts I got on so far surprised me. It really did surprise me. It didn't surprise me in that I didn't get banished, because they all really knew I wasn't. They really, the Traitors did. But again, as I say, you go into the groups and it's Paulie's all right. Yeah, all right. And everyone said it. But some of them, I looked at them like the Claires, like the Nigels. Marielle was the one I didn't get. Marielle, it was Craig and Kate. I voted for Teresa. I really thought Teresa was. The way she was like that time with Alex, she just ran off. It's like a little girl. And I thought, that was silly. A 42-year-old. It's just, come on, use your brains. But Alex, when she said that, like they voted for Marielle, a lot of them, and I voted for Teresa. And Kate and Craig came over to me and said, Paul, what are you doing? Because they were talking to me outside, steering me towards Marielle. And they wasn't listening because I was fixed. And he said, we told you. And I said, shit, bloody hell, you did as well. And it was her. She was the only one I didn't get. Well, obviously I didn't get Kate or Alex. I nearly got Alex, too late, but because of something came up. Kate, no chance. So you think about it. Paulie sat here, Kate's on my left, Alex is on my right. So we were sort of always together. And Kate was a lovely girl. And Alex is a lovely girl as well. And what happened, yeah.
Is there anyone who that you saw on the show afterwards and you sort of developed a different perception of compared to how you saw them in person?
Well, I've been speaking to a lot of them. Matty's exactly the same. One back, Matty. Craig's a perfect gentleman, and he still is out in the real world. Lewis is a card. He's a really good lad. Lewis is like, you always say, would you have a beer with him? Absolutely. Angus has just vanished off the face of the earth. I think he's gone up to the cult somewhere. I don't know, because he lives quite near us. He lives in Tambourine Mountain. He lives up on the Gold Coast, and we're down the coast as well. But we are going to have a reunion, even though the production on Channel 7 won't have a reunion. I don't know why, but we're all going to get together. Marielle, still, yeah. I've spoke to her. She was a nice girl. I mean, she was a traitor, but it's a game. Let's face it. It's a game. Dirk. Yeah, Dirk was lying in there, which was silly. And I always thought that was silly. I mean, that Churchillian speech he gave the week before we were all going to get rid of him, and he stood up. We'll fight them on the beaches. We'll fight them in the streets. Churchill. It was Churchill. It was brilliant. Churchill. And he did it. He got away with it, but he didn't get away with it next week because he was lying, and he deserved to go because he was lying. He threw us all. Stupid. So very silly that.
So what would your advice then be to, a future contestant who was about to go on the show? What advice would you give them?
Enjoy yourself. Don't get too stressed. Beware of joining cliques. I never joined any groups, And you notice I didn't join the groups because you had like Teresa, Fee, Cash, Ethan. There was a group. You had different little groups. Once you form a group, it's like a shotgun. You can take one out. They're going to take one of you out, And there was a couple, again, if you suspect a traitor, don't say it. Try and be guarded because it's pretty obvious. Sandra at the beginning, she was really good. She was forthright, and they saw her as a threat. And they said, right, that's it. She's gone. If you come on like that for the telly, oh yes, I want to get it. That's what the television want. But by the same token, if you're going to go far into the show, you've got to give a mixed, balanced view. Keep it to yourself, but try and divert a bit, Yeah. But again, go and enjoy it. Be careful. Have a good think about whether you want to be gregarious and loud and stick your head up to be shot, or whether just sit back a little bit and watch them all get picked off and intersperse. Because that's what happens. You get one school of thought where they'll be, I'm really gregarious and I'm really big personality, and the others are quiet and they last a bit longer. But you still get picked off. The quiet ones still get picked off as well. So you've got to balance it, you see. At certain times, you need to know when to say something correct or when to divert them. Because you really don't know, especially at the beginning, you really don't know who the traitors are. That's why in each of the shows, and I've not even seen the UK show or the American show. I've not watched them. But I dare say they'll be the same, where it'll be Faithful's being knocked off first, because you haven't got a clue. You think you know who it is, and that's where that 50-50 rule comes in. Oh, I know they're a traitor, or I know this. No, you don't know at all. You need to get 2 or 3 things together. And that's what I used to say to everybody. A, don't trust anybody. I always said, never trust anyone. Even if you think they're your mate, don't trust them. And also, if you get into that group or get into a group, just beware, because you'll either get shot from the back or you'll get shot from the front.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. In the UK and US ones, the same pattern emerges that actually calling out traitors very early on is not good for you. So that does seem to be the pattern throughout the different versions that I've seen, that actually it's a wise idea to not call out traitors because you just become a target for murder. So it's really interesting that you've brought that up. Yeah.
Well, you do, because again, I saw that firsthand, and I made a conscious decision. Yes, I'm gregarious, have a good laugh, and all 24 of them were chosen with particular traits. They're obviously good at what they do, and they're appealing, etc. But I made a conscious decision. I looked in that room and I thought, yes, sit back. They're going to kill each other. Or if they weren't like that, because I do a lot of meetings, I do functions and meeting people, and you get to know them. You get to know the bullshitters. Like MK. Oh, I know a bullshitter when I see one. He's the biggest bullshitter going. Why, come on, MK. I said that. I said, you're the biggest bullshitter going, mate. Oh, well, what do you mean? Your Honour. But again, they're going to kill themselves. They're literally going to kill themselves. Or the traitor. And that's why the traitors thought, right, let them stay in. They'll get kicked out, and we'll just pick off the ones to create chaos. So like if Fee gets knocked off and the Teresa mate cries, or they pick off Ethan and they all cry in, It's very good strategy. It was a good strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple more questions. One is about the show specifically, and one is sort of beyond the traitors. You used this really interesting phrase. You you said something like you broke production, or you figured something out. Maybe could you expand on that? What do you think you figured out that might have created a problem?
Well, I did ask a question during Banishment, and it's the fifth golden moment. That's probably why I got so far in the show. But it's the old school ground theory. It's like with any show like this, if there's any lies involved with anything, do you know what the schoolyard theory is? The school ground. When you're at school, when you're playing games, and Lewis did it right at the end of the school ground theory. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Right. You look people in the eye, you actually look at them, and you obviously ask them, are you a traitor? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Of course they're going to say no, aren't they? But then you take a bit of personalism into it. Then you say, well, would you swear on your mother's life, or your father's life, or your children's life, or anybody's life on it? Let's see them lie then. No, but you can't do that because that's with the rules and stuff. But that was the secret. You get to take a personal interest in it to say, well, take that, but you've got to take that out of it, Mm-hmm. I was prepared to do it. But the interesting thing was there's a couple in there that were as well, and I should have taken note of that because it was just quick and it just happened. It carried on. But yeah, and then Nigel said to me after, he goes, hey, hell, if that would have went on longer, further, because we sort of brushed over it. You see, we went up to Traitors Towers, or Traitors Lounges, as you say, business class lounge. It was. And he said, shit, we were wrapping it. We thought, oh no, if they carry on with that one, we've gone. But because it went on, it sort of brushed over it a bit. And otherwise, if we would have maintained that line, we would have unearthed a number of them, put it that way. Yeah.
I see. And one final thing for now. You've mentioned a couple of times that you had a goal to be in a quiz show, a game show, a reality show. And I just wonder what, beyond the Traitors, if you could be on another TV show, what would be your ideal program to go on?
Well, I'm yet to go on a reality show, aren't I, Matthew? Really, let's face it. I mean, done the quiz show because I did the game show, Game of Games, which was a spin-off of the Ellen show. And we did Australia here. And they actually showed our segment on the Ellen show in America, which was pretty groovy, me and my daughter. And then I did a quiz show over here called Hard Quiz. And you'd have to Google that. It's really good. And they have it's like Mastermind. You have a specialist subject and you get asked 5 questions on it, 4 contestants. And you all 4 get asked the questions on your particular subject, and you can buzz it in at any time. And mine's Manchester City, because being a Manchester City fan, I got all 5 right. Thank you very much. And that's the show, not to win or win the whole thing, is because my mate said, you're a City fan, you don't know anything about City. I said, let's prove it to you. And I got all 5 right, and he invited me back to do another one. Or, if you don't win, they have another show, Battle of the Duds or Losers, and they said, would you come back on? I said, why? Being a loser? Oh, no, we really liked you, and the audience liked you, and 800,000 views and all that. I said, only if my wife can come down. So we did it, and I got all 5 right again, Manchester City. Thank you very much. And this reality show, well, I was sort of on it. I think, I don't know, does it class as me being on this show or not? What do you think?
Oh, yes. Of course you were.
Then, haven't I? Well, again, there's not. I'd like to go on the telly again. Well, I'm too old now to be. If you're 20 and 30, great, you got a great career ahead of you. But I'm only doing it for fun. Literally doing it for fun. But a reality show. That's why this one was special, because it's something I could do. Again, I couldn't do Survivor or Alone. I don't know if you've seen Alone, Survival, or all that. Yeah. I can't sing. Big Brother would be a laugh because it's similar to this, but they're all kids. They're all like, they always say light travels faster than sounds, because when you watch Big Brother, there's a reason some people appear bright before you hear them speak. You know what I mean? Because light travels faster than sound. And that's where they get together and start. And that's to do with personalities to get rid of, to win. Whereas this was to get rid of the traitors. That's where the difference was. So really, there's not really another show I'd like to go on, actually, because this was really the only one. Oh, The Great Race. The Great Amazing Race, when the 2 of you go off around the world. That'd be a good one to do. with either a friend of mine or my daughter. That's the only thing I'd like to do. That's the last one I'd probably look at doing, because that'd be a laugh. Because I'd wangle my way around the place. Don't worry.
I can believe that. Absolutely. Now, before we conclude our game of betrayal, Paul, we've been trying to lie to one another. Maybe you can tell us, where can we find you online? Are you on social media? Is there anything that we should check out?
I am on Instagram, actually. Oldpeople.com. No, it's not at all. No, I don't know what my handle is. I think it's Paulie McPaulie.
Yes.
That's all I know it as, because my daughter's social media manager. In other words, she presses a button and it works. But I think it's Paulie McPaulie. So I've got some snippets on there, videos. Actually, I'll post that on there so you can have a look as well.
Yeah.
So a couple of pictures. There's some good stuff on there, actually. Yeah.
Yes. I follow you on Instagram so people can find your page through the podcast page, or I will put a link to it in the show notes for this episode.
Thank you very much, Matthew.
So we have been playing the Traitor. Our mission was to sneak in an undetected lie for one another. Ooh. I have told you a lie in the past hour, Paul. Did you tell me a lie?
I did, yes.
Okay. I am going to guess your lie. I'm struggling. I have a few options. I made some little notes as we went.
I know this is like adding to, like putting traitors in and that. Come on.
I have some options. Right. I'm going to go with my instinct.
Okay.
Is your lie something to do with, you mentioned your interview in the taxi as you left, but I don't remember seeing an interview with you in the taxi as you left. Was your lie connected to that?
Matthew, you're good, aren't you? You're not that good. No. I'm good. Because I'm honest and I have dignity. I'll give you one more guess.
Okay. I've never been given a second chance before. Okay. My second guess is you had the flu when you started filming and you were really ill.
Sorry, get away with that one. All right, okay. Hands up. No, I was ill. Have you got a third one? Come on, I'll give you a third. Come on.
Right.
Scottish heritage. Come on.
Okay. Last one. I'm struggling now. My last one is that you said that you haven't seen the UK or the US versions of the Traitors, and I'm wondering if that was a lie.
No, well, it's 3 and 3. There you go. Nope, it's no, it's true. I haven't seen them, honestly. I've been in touch with some of the cast from the UK and some of the cast from America, and some nice, lovely people. I haven't actually watched it. I just haven't got relation to tell you the truth. Because it's weird, because when you go through it and you've done it, you know what happens and that. And I just haven't got any inclination. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Strange. I've only watched ours once. That was it. Yeah.
In that case, you're going to have to relieve me then. What did you tell a lie about?
Okay. Yes, I was on Hard Quiz at that show. Yes, I went back twice. But no, my specialist subject wasn't on Manchester City. It was on Manchester United, because I hate Manchester City when I'm a Man United fan, don't I?
I did wonder, maybe there's not really a show called Hard Quiz, but then you spoke about it in so much detail. I thought, nah, he's really into this. This is true. And I just rejected it.
Yeah. That's the beauty when you lie, and that's one of the secrets as well. You put a lot of credibility in what you're saying in the particular subject and then put a lie in, and that's what you're trying to establish, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that's what I've done.
Well done. You should have been a traitor after all.
I know, well, it would have been interesting being a traitor, because I'm more happy-go-lucky in that. I would have stayed happy-go-lucky and probably done the same thing, but the burden, like even Nigel said, the burden gets to you after a while. And it got to him, you could see. And he was a prisoner in wherever it was. It was like, 'cause I had a beer with him afterwards, and I didn't know that. And we had a good old chat, and that's horrific. That was shocking, that, yeah.
Any idea what I lied to you about?
All right. There's only one thing, and I think it was the dog. No?
Yeah, you're right. The door did open, and I did have to get rid of an
Right.
animal. It wasn't a dog, it was my cat.
So it wasn't a big roll. Oh, really? That was the lie.
That was my lie.
He didn't have me on the TV show. What do you think?
See, it's all becoming clear. You're too good at detecting lies. It makes sense now.
I can detect lies, but again, it's like I wouldn't boast about it because literally, if you Google the statistics, you flip a coin, it's 52%. You can't. Even, I honestly have done conferences where the FBI and CIA were there. Because I spoke to them after and I said, "Blood rubbish that." Oh, no. And it's some of the things you say, and they say, "Well, actually, yeah, you're right, but we look at certain things, movements. Like, when people say, oh, he fold his arms, that's a sign." No, it is, but you've got to do it in concert with something else, touching 3 or 4 things, not just one thing. Because you fold your arms doesn't mean it's defensive. Some people just fold their arms anyway.
Yeah.
People are bullshitting about things when they talk to you about that, and you go, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And we caught a few in Traitors talking like that, and I just thought, nah, rubbish.
So, what made you suspicious about my fake dog?
It was just, well, I didn't hear anything, and when you went out, I just thought, no, I don't know. Maybe it's because our dog is out there, and I knew the dog would be knocking at the door, but it hasn't been. I think they've muffled it. I think they've tied it up somewhere with gaffer tape, but or kicked it out. But no, it was pretty good, wasn't it? Because I just thought, I haven't got a clue, but maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the door was creaking, and you obviously couldn't hear it. And I thought maybe I could use this, so I did have to get rid of the cat. And I thought, I could just pretend it's a dog. And in my head, I was thinking, what if he asks me what kind of dog I've got? I'm going to have to make up a type of dog. And then I was worried, what if you asked me to show you the dog? And so I was going through all this in my mind. Maybe I overthought it.
You would have said, "Oh, a Scotty dog." Of course you would.
Yeah, I should have. Paul.
So has anybody got your lies before?
A couple of times. I'm usually pretty good at getting away with it. I'm doing pretty well, but once or twice I have been caught out now. Yeah. So
sorry to go there. Sorry,
you've ruined my record.
And what's happening now? Edit. Don't you get? How dare you?
I could edit this all out and pretend that you had no idea what I lied about, and I look amazing.
And no. Actually,
Yes. Oh, yes. The listeners won't be able to see you are wearing your Traitors red tracksuit with Paul emblazoned on the back.
And the other thing was, like, you get your tracksuit, you get 2 tracksuits. Obviously, you got to clean them after the challenges. Mine's extra large and baggy extra large trousers, so they made me look like a little fat boy. Oh, so you got. And Alex, you watch Nigel and Lewis, you look at them sexy, really streamlined. So when Nigel's doing his laser one, he's like stepping over. And Fat Paul, I'm trying to, I'm allowed to say that on the podcast. But Paulie, I was doing it all right, but then obviously, they're not tight, are they? And they're dropping down onto the laser. The large fillet, basically. And also, when they you get your clothes clean, get them back. I was getting white t-shirts back, 4XL. Come on, who's the 4XL? I'll give you a clue. I've still got one of them, a 4XL, going, they're taking the mickey here. But the funny things was, when I was going for the show, we had to do a medical. And after all these years, I found out what my blood group was. Because I said to the doctor, all right, he said, yeah, you're perfectly healthy, yeah. I said, so what's my blood group? He said, well, it's B positive. I went, yeah, no, was it really? He said, no, it's B positive. I said, seriously? So he said, yeah. So, and I always take the mickey and I always say to people, be positive like your blood group. And I end up being B positive, my blood group. Out of the experience, be positive.
And a lovely note to end on. Be positive. Paul, thank you so much. It's been great to talk with you. Again,
just one thing. Say a quick hello to Linda Belcher and Joanne Landscape. They're two people who've been watching the show, and they've always saying good things about, like when you get trolls and people blagging everything. Two of the loveliest people. They're always happy with everybody, and they watch the shows and watch and follow everybody. But I just thought I'd say a quick hello to them too, because they stand out in my mind, yeah. As well as me, lovely wife and kids, of course.
Of course.
Just thought I'd say that. Sorry.
Oh, that's lovely. Yes, and again, you are the contestant that most people have asked me about. So it's great to have you on, and you've been so willing to tell us all about your experience on the show. It's been great. I really appreciate it.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, everybody, for asking. I am alive. I am well. I am in hiding, keeping away, but nobody knows who I am anyway. So it's great. I support it.
Paul, I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, Trader listeners. Paul was such a treat to talk to and really up for a laugh. Check out the podcast Instagram page to see a picture of Paul and I on our online meeting where Paul wore his iconic Traitors Red Challenge tracksuit. If you want to send me any questions or comments, nice ones only, or a big pile of silver bars, you can get in touch on Instagram at the Trader Podcast or Twitter at the Trader Pod, or you could email me at thetraderpodcast@gmail.com. Up next is another interview special with banished contestant Saint Teresa. Until next time, stay faithful.